Hey, so here's the results from the regression analysis. And I've downloaded these numbers from SurveyMonkey and then sorted them and have been trying to figure out what's going on. And so, um, first of all, these are sorted in terms of the different projects. So this first column, this is the data that you've reported to me. 6 Hours of Warrior Creek, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Blood, Sweat, and Gears 1, 1, 2, 4, and 5. So for Blood, Sweat, and Gears, student number or the student represented by row 8, I believe I sent you Blood, Sweat, and Gears 3. And I believe that that's what you were estimating, but you wrote down BSG 1. So I'm just wondering if, just to make sure, check and make sure that you got BSG 3. So the same things apply to students in row 12 and 13. If you wrote down High Country Beer Fest 1, check and make sure you got 3 or 4. And then for High Country Beer Fest, 3 other students wrote down High Country Beer Fest 1 and check and make sure that you received 2, 6, and 7. Okay, another thing that I've noticed is that 2 students went ahead and worked together, and on this assignment I'm looking for separate data reports because everyone got different data sets. And when it comes time to work on the project, then you can pick a data set that you want and work together. But for this one, I need separate entries for each student. So if you received Valley Country Fair number 4, please send me your regression results so that I can add them to this table. And I just noticed one thing. I have 2 VCF2s, and there should be a VCF1. Okay, so one of these should be VCF1. So just check and make sure that you're using the right data. So let's see. I think that's shouldn't be highlighted. So every place I've highlighted something in yellow, I'm not sure that you have done the assignment correctly. So 6 Hours Warrior Creek 5, you included time as your independent variable, and that should be the fee variable. High Country Beer Fest 1, if you were sent High Country Beer Fest 3, you're using parking fee as the dependent variable and income as the independent. And the dependent variable should be car, and the independent variable should be park fee. Okay, and that probably explains these results that I've highlighted to the right. So the wrong independent variable explains the wrong mean of the independent variable. And then if you have 6 Hours of Warrior Creek 4, take a look at the estimates for the regression coefficients for the intercept. And they're all about the same, between 0.79 and 1.99, except for 91.54. So I'm not sure if yes and phi, yes regressed on phi is the model that was estimated for these. So if you estimated this model, your results for the next section, next assignment, aren't going to be correct. And High Country Farm Tour, I think these are correct, but R squared is much higher than all of the other for all the other data sets. And I forget what that looked like when I came up with that data set when I estimated the models myself. So just check and make sure that that is the R squared. And these F stats look, at least that F stat is very large. So I'm just not sure. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to grade all of these at some point, and if you don't have a yellow, I'm going to give you 100 for the assignment. If you do have a yellow, I'm going to give you a 0 until you redo it and submit results that that we can both agree on. And in the case of High Country Farm Tour, these might be fine. Just send me an email and say, yeah, that's what I got for that regression model. So I'll send you an email and with a survey link where you can resubmit your results if you're these folks in yellow. Okay, and then for the next assignment, at that same link, I am going to add a question with 3 open-ended entries where I want you to estimate the demand model and the elasticity. So I have added a column that includes the market size for your study. So 6 Hours of Warrior Creek, there's about 368 people in the market, and that's the number of participants from the most recent race, or maybe the race from which this data was from, but it's about the same order of magnitude as the most recent. They're all about the same. For Blood, Sweat, and Gears, it's 1,156. For High Country Beer Fest, it's 1,593. For High Country Farm Tour, that one's harder to get a handle on. Jeff Nicely in his MBA thesis said it was over 500. So I've just included 500 there. And for Valley Country Fair, in that presentation, I estimated 2,550 carloads. So we're using the carload number. And actually this, for High Country Beer Fest, I will use that number for this exercise. That's fine. Okay, so what I've done down in this last row is computed the average for all of the results. So this is the average of F2 to F23, and the average is 44.99. So that's pretty high. Yeah, so because of a couple numbers in here, that average is not correct. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that guy and that guy. And then all the results for the models that are highlighted. And I think this one still looks okay. I just want y'all to check again. So here's the average responses. So to compute this is the individual demand curve, where the probability that we're going to have a return customer is equal to 1.16 minus 0.02. Let's see if we have another digit there. 0.022 times the cost of returning. So to get the market demand curve, multiply both sides by 1246. Okay, so I'm going to do that over in the A times N column. So A is the demand intercept, N is the market size. So G25 times M25 is my intercept. And I like looking at just two decimals to the two numbers to the two digits to the right of the decimal. And then B times N is I25 times M25. And there we go. So there are the numbers for the demand model. So if I was to write this out on the board, it would look like this. Q equals 1444 minus 27 times P. So there's the demand model. So the last thing I want you to submit is the price elasticity of demand. And that is equal to the absolute value of the coefficient on the price variable, I25. That's not right. On the market price variable, so O25. And then that's multiplied by the mean of the price and quantity. So the mean of the price is found over here, the mean of X. So that's 4650. So I'm going to call that F25. And then we divide that by the mean quantity, the average quantity. So the average quantity from your calculation is 0.95, but you don't want to use that because that is the individual demand average. You want to scale that up to the market average. So we're going to multiply E25 times the market size of 1246. Okay, so F25 divided by another parenthetical. Where are we? Okay, E25 times M25. Close parentheses, and let's see what we get. Yeah, so our elasticity for the average demand curve for all of these data sets is 1.06. Now that's real close to the elasticity equal to 1 for unitary elastic demand curve. But I have done this calculation for each of the data sets up here, and your numbers are going to vary away from 1. There's several that are below 1 and even more that are greater than 1. Okay, so you're going to be receiving an email that has a question asking you for the market intercept and the market slope, and then the price elasticity of demand. And that's the next assignment.